So what's up, bosses? I know it's been a while and I do apologise, but I am back with another video, and I wanted to do, I guess, a mixture of my top 5 spring fragrances and also what I've been wearing the most during lockdown so far. So back in a second. Watching the Luxury Fragrance Boss channel. My name's Scott. Of course, I'm the Luxury Fragrance Boss. Thank you for joining me for another one of my top 5s. Now, I do apologise if there's any sort of any noise or anything like that. I've got both the cats in with me because I've got the door closed for the office. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and I do apologise. It has been a while since my last video, about 2.5 months. Unfortunately, I've had a lot going on since the new year, and I've not really been in the right headspace in order to do that. I did do one, I think around January or about 2.5 months ago. So yeah, probably around mid-February. So I do apologise for my absence, but I am back with another top 5. As I said, I'm going to be doing a mixture of what I've been wearing the most during lockdown. Also, I mean, these are pretty much spring fragrances as well. So I thought I'd do a mixture. I'm going to call it top 5 spring fragrances. Roxy, please leave the bottles alone. So yes, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, well, if you haven't already hit that notification bell, make sure you do that as well. That way you'll be the first to know anytime I'm releasing a new video. Roxy, please leave the bottles alone. I'm sure Roxy will be on screen in a little while, or Killian, wherever he is. So let's kick it off, first of all, with an honourable mention. For those of you that don't know or are new to the channel, they're my 2 cats. So yeah, let's kick it off. First one that, I mean, this is my first honourable mention. This one's an absolute classic when it comes to spring fragrances. This one really does smell like spring. If you think of walking through a grassy meadow, first thing in the morning when that morning dew's sitting on the ground, that is exactly what you get with Green Iris Tweed. Absolutely classic, absolutely timeless as well. Spring classic. This was originally my one of my signature scents, I guess, along with Aventus. When I first started wearing niche fragrances, it was really between this one and Aventus. This one was always my favourite though. Aventus, I find it, I don't want to say too common because it's not common fragrance, not like Chanel Blue or Sauvage. But where I'm from here in Grand Cayman, it's the #1 selling fragrance because my stores sell it, so I have access to those figures. But it is the #1 selling fragrance in Grand Cayman, so you smell it absolutely everywhere. Roxy, please leave them alone. So let's go into my number 5 then. For my number 5, I'm going to go with one from the house of Fragrance de Bois. It's not going to be my favourite one, Oud Violet, as many of you will know. I'm actually selecting Oud Vert. Now this one here, I know many of you will think that sometimes when it comes into spring, ouds can be a little bit heavy. However, not with this one. This one is a really sort of nice, fresher smelling scent. As the name Oud Vert, which obviously is oud green or green oud, would give reference to. But yeah, this one, just an absolutely stunning fragrance for this time of year. You have got the oud in there, so it does warm it up a tiny bit, but yeah, it's a very, very green smelling fragrance, sort of. I guess you've got a little bit of cut grass in there, and this one's a very, very unisex fragrance as well. But yeah, I mean, the other one that I'd recommend as well is probably Oud Bleu, which is also a very, very good, much more aquatic oud, really. But yeah, for springtime, Oud Bleu I would go with probably in the summertime. Oud Vert definitely for the springtime. I'm going to put all the notes as well in the description below. So yeah, that's my number 5. So for my number 4, I'm going to go with a fairly new house, which is one that I've been raving about in my last few videos. Well, I picked up this wonderful discovery set in Osme Perfumery when I was back in October when I was in Miami. Yeah, let me just show you this one. Obviously, the one I'm going to talk about is missing out of it. You've got 8 7.5ml bottles there, and I think I paid about $80 for that. If you love musky fragrances, definitely get your hands on one of these discovery sets. But for my number 4, I'm going to go with Memoire. This one here from the house of L'Arc Parfum. This one really is, I'd say, if you are a big fan of, let me grab it. This one right here from the house of Creed Himalaya. But you're looking for something a little bit more muskier, definitely dive into this one. Also, this one's about half the price of a bottle of Himalaya as well for 100ml. This one, I mean, like I've said before, when I've talked about L'Arc, this is one company that really know how to do musky fragrances. Quite a lot of them, I'd say about half the collection is sort of vanilla-y musky fragrances. But this one, if you're looking for something a bit more sort of mountainous, Yeah, I mean, it was something really, really fresh, but with that musk to it. This one, I mean, this one really stunning. This one I've worn a couple of times as well since I've been in lockdown. I'm not wearing fragrances all the time at the moment. Sometimes when I'm out in the garden, working out in the garden, or I've been working on my car a lot recently as well, where it's very, very hot outside because it's got 90 degrees here. If you could see Roxy right now, she's laying on her back looking at me. But yeah, so I don't wear them every day because they can be a little bit clingy sometimes when I'm outside in the intense heat doing yard work or working on my car. So in number 4 we've got Memoire. As I said, I'm going to put all the notes as well to give you an idea, but that absolutely stunning fragrance, stunning house, definitely worth checking out. So let's dive into number 3. Number 3, I'm going to go to the house of Clive Christian for an absolute classic fragrance, 1872. Now the reason this one's called 1872 is it became this one pays homage to the original Crown Perfumery, which is the perfume company that Clive Christian purchased just over 20 years ago, which is why they had their 20th anniversary at the end of last year, which they did a fragrance for to mark that. But yeah, 1872. Some of you may or may not know as well. Their original cologne that this one is based on was actually in the Titanic's guest suite bathrooms, which is fantastic, really. Obviously, they didn't make it much further; they only done the one voyage. But yeah, this was put into the suites on the Titanic. Not this exact one, but this one, as I said, this one pays homage to their very first cologne, 1872, which is as I said, the birth year of the Crown Perfumery. But yeah, if you're looking for something absolutely classic and a cologne kind of smell, this one really does last as well. As with all of these that I talk about, I don't recommend I don't recommend bad performing fragrances. I look for something that's going to last all day, most of the evening, or most of what I wear I can still smell the next morning. So yeah, again, another absolute stunner. Obviously this one's a bit more at high end of price points, but yeah, absolutely stunning, absolutely timeless. So for my number 2, I'm going to have to go to one of my favourite fragrances that I do talk about quite often a couple of these I do talk about quite often. Number 2, the reason it's going in as number 2 is because I do talk about quite often, as well as my next honourable mention. Molecule 01. This one from Escentric Molecules is just absolutely stunning to me. Obviously it's only made up of one note, which is ISO E Super, which is generally used in quite a few fragrances to boost certain performances or certain notes, or the performance of certain notes. It's basically to strengthen fragrances. However, the strand that they use in this particular one is absolutely stunning. One thing I will say about this one, other than the fact it smells very clean, and this one on me is absolutely beast mode. One thing you will notice with the Molecules line is not everybody will be able to smell these. Now, I smell this one absolutely all day long. However, I tried Molecule 4, I couldn't smell it at all. That one's Sandalwood, which I absolutely adore Sandalwood, but for some reason I couldn't smell it. My wife couldn't smell it either, but this one is beast mode on both of us. And my wife, funny enough, it's beast mode on my wife, but she can't smell it after a sort of 10 minutes, something like that. However, I smell this one absolutely all day, and this one goes on and on and on, despite me going in the gym and things like that, which obviously can't do at the moment. But yeah, if you're looking for a beautiful sort of clean smell, definitely go for Molecule 01. So diving into my second honourable mention, this is one that from the House of Creed, which I do talk about quite often because it is my favourite from the House of Creed. And I know many of you out there will own this one. A lot of people didn't like this when it was first released. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about, of course. Which is this one here, the beautiful bright orange or reddish orange green bottle. Reddish orange bottle. This one here, I loved it from the very, very first second I got my hands on it. This one is actually the first bottle that arrived in the Caribbean, and it was given to me as a gift from the Creed rep. Thank you very, very much. Yes, because it hadn't even been released, and they agreed to send me a bottle, as well as a couple of other staff members. But this one, I absolutely fell in love with it. What I love about this one is it's kind of one of those fragrances, kind of like another one of my favourite fragrances that's perfect for absolute all year round, which of course, How Fetty from the House of Penhaligon's. One thing I love about both of these, obviously you know I rave about Helvetia all the time, but one thing I love about both of these is they've got warm and sort of fresher notes in. So those fresher notes I find really come out in the spring, summertime, and those warmer notes really sort of show themselves in the autumn, winter time, which I find absolutely incredible. So it makes it all year round. This one's again, I kind of, some people call this as a, or refer to this one as a barbershop fragrance. I don't really get that. You've got those beautiful sort of woody notes though, and those fresh citrusy notes. I think it's just beautiful balanced fragrance. It's quite unique as well, I find. Yeah, much more unique I think than Aventus. But yeah, between, I mean, Helvetia as well is one that I mentioned it in so many videos though that I didn't want to drop it in. It's still got to mention it accidentally. But yeah, my second honourable mention is Creed Viking. So, my number one fragrance that I'm enjoying that's so fresh and is so good for this time of year, but perfect for lockdown as well. It's a nice alternative to Creed Rolfer. If you like, I can't see my bottle of a Rolfer at the moment, but if you like Creed Rolfer but you don't find it quite strong enough, or you find the performance isn't that great, you want something a little bit stronger, lasts a little bit longer, definitely get your hands on this next one. Imaginary Authors, Every Storm a Serenade. Now I've only got a little bottle of this one because I bought this one as a gift for my wife. When I run out of a Rolfer, I'm going to replace it with a full bottle of this one. This one is one of those absolute beast mode fragrances. If my wife doesn't wear a lot of fragrance at all, she literally just sort of, it's like not even a full squirt or anything like that. It's literally like that, like a half squirt. However, when she puts this on, I walk into, because I keep all my fragrances in here, and I walk in here in the morning like an hour, 2 hours sometimes after she's left, if she's had an early meeting or something like that. I walk in here and that's all I can smell is this one right here. It's a very, very strong fragrance and it lasts forever. The easiest way to describe this one, if you haven't smelled a Rolfer, this one's a very oceanic smelling fragrance. Now with a Rolfer, it's a bit more like, it's like, I guess when if you've been on a cruise or something like that in the Caribbean, or even in the Mediterranean, you get the spit sometimes that comes up off the front of the ship, and it sort of blows, and you get that sort of beautiful, sort of fresh, salty ocean smell. Think of a storm overhead, and it's sort of quite warm and humid. That's the difference really that you get with Every Storm a Serenade. I guess that's kind of why it's got that name, but that's what it makes me think of, like a humid, kind of sort of cloudy or overcast, and it sort of feels very, very close. It's got a little bit more greenness to Every Storm a Serenade than a Rolfer, but both incredible fragrances. But if you are looking for something strong, something that's going to be an absolute top performer, I'd recommend Every Storm a Serenade. And again, that one actually costs a lot less money than the bottle of Creed. So there's my top 5 either lockdown fragrances or spring fragrances. I hope you enjoyed those. Let me know in the comment section what you'll be wearing as well this spring, or what you've been wearing during lockdown, as I'd love to hear. Besides that, as I said, don't forget to hit that notification bell, give me a like, give me a thumbs up as well, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you so much for watching.